You alright? How are we all doing? Walking in the park again today. It's a beautiful day. Weather's been great so far since, I don't know, beginning of April really. Needs some rain though, but apart from that it's good. Right, what we're talking about today. Have you ever thought, I want to give up the guitar, or it's not working for me, or I'm not getting any better, I haven't got the time. Even when you get that new guitar, it doesn't inspire. Now that is a problem. Is that right, Bella? Yeah, that is a problem that everyone encounters. So even if you're just starting or you've been playing a few years, you're still a guitarist. You get guitarists at different levels, like you get football players or sportsmen. So unless you're going to be a professional, remember the number one rule is to enjoy it, right? But also, I get bored sometimes of the guitar. Sometimes it's harder when you do it for a living because you might have a guitar in your hand all day long. So it's not like you've done a different job and you get in from work and this lovely instrument you've worked hard for is in your hands and it sounds fresh and it sounds great. Sometimes, depending on what work you're doing though, that is, because there's a lot of work what is fun, and there's some work gigs which are just like a day job. You've got to sit in traffic, you've got big loading. What I mean is getting the gear into the venue, you've got a late finish, on the way home the roads are shut, and all that impacts on why you're playing the instrument. And my first reason was because I love it, and I still do. So ways to get stuck out of a rut with practice. Number one, do you find yourself when you pick up your guitar, you're playing the same thing? And that's a bit like eating the same 6 or 7 dinners week in, week out, every day. Same, gets boring and monotonous. And that's one of the reasons I started one of my Patreon page. Because each week I put something fresh up for my students to learn. Sometimes it's twice a week, depending on my time. And that way, it gets you engaged with the guitar in a fresh way. So it's a bit like trying a new flavour with food. Or, you know, you've gone to a different country and you've been inspired by a new dish you never thought you'd have. And the guitar works a bit like that. Because you've got to remember, when you first start playing the guitar, when you first learn that G, C, D chord, it's the most amazing thing in the world. And you think, wow, this is like the best thing I've ever done. And then after a while, you think, well, must be able to do something else on it. So you start finger picking, etc. And then you hit this brick wall where you think, I just can't get better. And it's not that you can't get better. It's that what happens is you get used to your routine, and then what you've got to do is break out of that routine. Because once you break out of it and you try new stuff, so basically what you could do, you could have your old stuff as a warm-up, what you do, and then have introduced something new which you haven't done. Like, it could be a new lick, or it could be a new song from a style you haven't really tried. If you haven't tried finger picking before, find a nice easy finger picking exercise. If you haven't tried a new pentatonic shape, try a new one of them. It's going to be slow first of all, and you're going to think, oh, my fingers can't do this, but it's muscle memory. And what happens is, the more you play, your fingers get used to these patterns. And as I said, on that Patreon page, each week there's something different, and even I'll put stuff on there. I think, oh, that's a good idea, I'll try that. So it's a good way of keeping the energy and the enthusiasm up for the guitar, because it's very easy. Now another thing is, the less you pick it up, the desire goes to pick it up as well. So if you've got your fancy guitar and you leave it in your case all the time, it's not really saying, is it, oh, pick me up, play me, because it's in this black case, which is like, the guitar's invisible. So get that guitar out, put it on the side, looks better than a picture, I think. And then you can just pick it up when you're having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever you're doing, and play something new as well as your old stuff, and then build that into your playing. So that's my little tip for today on the dog walk. Here she comes. And enjoy it. All right, see you later, bye.